Hotel Transylvania has an animated series, and it's going to suck. Yeah, I know it's a cheap shot. So of course the show is based on the movie produced by Sony, which is interesting considering the show is on Disney. Huh. Clearly this must have been part of the Spider-Man deal. So the first movie was really good, which is surprising considering it had Adam Sandler in it, but they actually did a really good job of making Adam Sandler likable and not the most annoying person in the movie. Then of course there was the sequel, but unfortunately I've never seen it, and I've heard mixed things about it. And apparently there's going to be a third one, because Hollywood never knows when to quit. So the series is a prequel to the first movie, because of course it is. And it's about Mavis looking after Hotel Transylvania while Dracula is away. She does so with the help of some of her monster friends, who are the children of some of the monsters we saw in the movie. And again, I didn't see the second movie, so I could be wrong about this, but I don't seem to recall them ever being established. The only ones I remember actually having children were the werewolf couple. Also, really, they gave a kid to the Blob creature. If I recall, he didn't really do a whole lot in the movie, and yet somehow he has a kid. I really don't want to know how that works. They also established Mavis's Aunt Lydia, who is also a vampire, and I'm going to be honest, she just kind of looks like Dracula in drag. A Dragula, if you will. So right off the bat, I have to say, this show is one of the bounciest cartoons I've seen in a while. The amount of squash and stretch in this is almost Tex Avery levels. Although it does match up pretty well with the movie, because for those of you familiar with the movie, it had a very fast-paced sense of humor and a lot of physical comedy. And it does translate, I think, a little bit better to 2D. Unfortunately, of course, there are inconsistencies with this show. For one, Mavis's personality is very different. She's much more extroverted in this, and I recall her in the movie being a little bit more of a shut-in because she's been kept in the castle her whole life. But she didn't really have that much of a personality, at least not in the first movie. So I guess in a way it is kind of an improvement. The one weird thing though is that Mavis doesn't seem to be afraid of humans. If I recall from the first movie, that was one of the things that kept her in the castle, because Dracula made her afraid of humans. In fact, there was that scene in the movie where she goes out to the village and they dress up all the zombies to look like humans just to, you know, scare her off and keep her in the castle. Also, we need to talk about the humans in the show, because apparently Hotel Transylvania has neighbors. Human neighbors. Like American human neighbors. I know at the end of the first movie they did seem to have what were American people just hanging out in the local villages, but that was because of some kind of weird Dracula Festival, which, by the way, we need to have that. But the thing about it in this show is they just have this mansion that just happens to be right there next to the hotel this whole time, and it's inhabited by what I assume to be rich people, just hanging out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Transylvania. Ugh, white people. I did like the voice acting in this. Unfortunately, no one from the movies came back to reprise their roles, which is a shame, but this is a Canadian production, and we've talked about that on the show. Nelvana, to be specific, so they use their own voice actors. And I do like a lot of the designs. Again, just like with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs when I reviewed that, I feel like the designs work better in 2D. Although, is it me, or does Mavis look a little too much like Star? I wouldn't be surprised if this was the same universe. Speaking of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, I was kind of worried that this would follow suit with that, but I feel like this was done a lot better. Because with Hotel Transylvania, there's a lot more you can do with it. There's a lot more things you can explore, a lot more opportunity for comedy. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs had no reason to exist, let's be honest. And I bet you already forgot it existed, because it was on Cartoon Network for like 2 weeks and then it went away. But it was certainly a lot better than that, although it really doesn't say much. I guess one other problem I have with this was, why did this premiere during the summer? This should have premiered in October, closer to Halloween. It would have been perfect. Ugh, I'm so sick and tired of Halloween getting the shaft from network television. But overall, it was okay. It does work very well as a series. So I'd say if you're a fan of the movies, it might be worth checking out. But that's all I got for Hotel Transylvania. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think of it. My name is Rob, and have a wonderful day.